My name is Dr. Michael Flanagan and I'm the superintendent of the Tyngsboro Public Schools. Today I'm proud to announce our first episode of Crossing the Bridge. The goal of this program is to provide an inside look to the good work happening in the Tyngsboro Public Schools. This episode will feature interviews with each of our building principals who talk about some of the initiatives and programs they're truly excited about this year in their schools. Each episode of Crossing the Bridge will also feature a spotlight section that will look at the good work being done by different students, staff, or some of our school groups. Thank you for tuning in, and we truly hope that you enjoy the first episode of Crossing the Bridge.
Hello, my name is Corey O'Neill, senior at Tyngsboro High School. I will be interviewing the building principals today. First, let's meet our elementary principal, Mrs. Carrie Kavanaugh. Mrs. Kavanaugh, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your professional and educational career?
So thanks for coming to Tyngsboro Elementary School. My name is Carrie Kavanaugh. I'm the principal here. I'm entering my 5th year as principal of TES. This is my 11th year at Tyngsboro Public Schools. Prior to my principalship here, I was the Director of Student Services at Central Office, and I've also held special education facilitator role here in our district. Prior to joining Tyngsboro Public Schools, I was a classroom teacher in kindergarten and 3rd grade.
One of the things Tyngsboro Public School strives upon is to make a community-based approach. Could you please tell me a little bit about the parent and community groups involved at TES and what types of support they provide?
At TES, we're very fortunate to have strong homeschool partnerships with our parents. We have a very strong parent-teacher organization that supports our arts and enrichment activities that happen in the school, which are in-house field trips that help support the curriculum at each of the grade levels. In addition, we have a very strong Ed Foundation that supports a lot of the technology that is embedded throughout our school here at TES. So through Ed Foundation, we've been able to receive grant funding for iPad carts, Chromebook carts, smart boards, flexible seating, and so we appreciate the support immensely of our PTO and EFT.
And for our final question for each principal, we want to get a sense of what makes TES TES. So for someone who's never stepped foot in your building, what is one thing you would like them to know?
So I think one of the most important things in our building is the true sense of community that we have. We have our Stripes core values that are an integral part of the daily activities that happen in our building. And those Stripes core values are heard and seen throughout our building. And one of the things that we say on a regular basis is if you are kind to your classmates, to your peers, to your teachers, that you are showing your stripes on a daily basis. So I think if you are a new member to our community, you would embrace that pretty quickly and see that throughout the school.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Kavanaugh.
Thanks, Corey.
Next on Crossing the Bridge, we're going to be hearing from a 5th grade elementary student about her Just Say Hi campaign.
This is my school, Tyngsboro Elementary School in Massachusetts. I come here every day with my friends in a school bus. I am Mira and I come to school on my wheelchair. Most people don't know what to say when they see a kid on a wheelchair, but that's not the case in my school. Did you learn something? Just say hi.
Now we have the opportunity to meet our middle school principal, Mr. Chris Paulette. Mr. Paulette, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your educational career?
Well, thanks. So I've been in public education for 27 years. This is my 28th year. I graduated from University of New Hampshire, and I have a master's degree and a certificate of advanced graduate study in educational admin from there, so I've been doing it for a long time. I've also taught some university level classes and worked with the New England League of Middle Schools. This is my 4th middle school, my 2nd principalship.
Ms. Paulette, could you tell us some things that are happening at the middle school this year that you are particularly excited about?
Yeah, so this year we changed our schedule around to really try to focus on appropriate programming for all students. In the past, there have been a number of sub-separate programs that kind of alienated students from what they should be included, because having both been middle school students at one point, being included with your friends is extremely important. We see that kids grow and learn an awful lot from that. We've created a What I Need block, WIN block here in our schedule, which is going to be able to focus on specific learning needs that kids have. We're going to do some individual progress monitoring and say some goals that kids need to improve on, specific skills in math and reading. We've also increased our technology by a ton here, and our goal is to really get to a one-to-one level so kids can have access to computers and technology all throughout their day for 5 minutes or for the entire class period. So with the help of the IT department, in particular Mr. Piper and the business office to make available the funds, it's really given us some great opportunities. So I'm very excited about the progress in that area.
Helping students develop independence is critical during the middle school years. What are some of the opportunities Tyngsboro Middle School offers to help children grow as individuals?
So beyond the schedule and how we kind of structure our day, the first thing we notice is that 6th graders talk about all the freedom that they have. When they make that transition from 5th to 6th grade, they are expected to kind of control their schedule, their materials. They get to choose things at lunch. And here we are about 6 weeks into school, and the kids are just flourishing. I joke that 6th graders are running the building after 2 weeks of being here. So that's one, just the structure of the building. We have really worked hard with student council to build some individual growth for our kids. They went to a leadership conference last week, which really gave them an opportunity to grow and develop. And then they're going to run their meetings and come up with opportunities to improve the school. And then lastly, one of the things that we promote in each team is a flex block. And during that time, kids can go and work with each teacher that they need to find out what they owe, or if they have questions about things, so they can go forward and make progress, and that they're taking their individual ownership over this.
Finally, Mr. Paulette, if there was someone walking into Tyngsboro Middle School for the first time, what is one thing you would like them to know about this school?
I would hope that they would realize that this place is a school that's built on students reaching their fullest potential, that they have an opportunity to grow as far as they can in the time that they're here, and they do it working as groups, working individually, working with adults, and that they kind of understand what they're learning and why they're learning it. So if you came into our building and saw kids doing their thing and asked them questions, and they would be able to articulate that to you, that would be my goal.
All right, awesome. Thank you for your time, Mr. Paulette.
Thank you.
Now we will hear from Dr. Flanagan, who will talk to us about the Tyngsboro Middle School Facility Needs video.
This is Superintendent of Schools Dr. Michael Flanagan bringing you this short video to provide an inside look at some of the physical needs of the Tyngsboro Middle School, as well as provide an overview of the school building process with the Massachusetts School Building Authority, or MSBA. As many around town know, the condition of our middle school is a topic of conversation. For the 7th consecutive year, the Tyngsboro Board of Selectmen and the Tyngsboro School Committee have voted to approve that a statement of interest be submitted to the MSBA for review. The MSBA makes a determination in late November or early December about which school projects warrant funding throughout the state. Our goal is to be invited into the core building project by MSBA so that the community can then decide on whether or not we support a school building project. Typically, communities receive a reimbursement of over 50% of the total cost of a core school building or renovation project. In an effort to help taxpayers understand why we are interested in the core school project, this video will highlight some of the restrictions and modifications made to TMS to accommodate the learning needs of our students. Additionally, our goal is to bring attention to inefficiencies in our school that will need to be addressed in upcoming years with or without MSBA support. First, we'll start with the most obvious inefficiency. The exterior windows of the school are original to 1968 and are aluminum framed single pane glass. The exterior of the school shows the wall of windows that encompass the entire first floor. Inside the school, the hot days are very hot and the cold days are very cold. The inefficiency of the windows and the inability to regulate temperatures within the school are certainly not conducive to learning and can serve as a distraction, which makes it difficult for both students and teachers. Most upstairs classrooms have only 2 or 3 skinny windows which provide minimal natural light and make it difficult for teachers to regulate classroom temperatures due to their dated style or condition. As we consider energy efficiency, it is important to note that even with the addition of an updated boiler in 2009, the windows do not allow us to properly condition the building. When conditioning a space, be it cooling or heating, it is critical to have an efficient window system that prevents conditioned air from escaping the building. Another issue with the school is the design of our classrooms. Originally built for 1968 instructional practices, the current classroom space makes it difficult for students to collaborate, create, and move about. The footprint of the classrooms vary, but many are too small for the number of students in the room and do not provide for an optimal learning experience. The modern learning environment requires a flexible classroom that includes open space, a variety of classroom furniture, and the ability to accommodate the individual physical and social emotional needs of our students. As a result, each day you will see students collaborating in the hallways because there is no room in their class. Additionally, some classrooms are not designed to support current curricular needs. For example, some grade 6 science labs have only a sink with no workbenches or other science lab equipment. Finally, there are a limited number of electrical outlets in each room. Therefore, accessing technology and incorporating digital learning opportunities becomes problematic. Another space concern in the middle school is specific to the number of student services that we are mandated to provide our children. To accommodate these services, we've had to partition off pre-existing classrooms. In some instances, office spaces have been created in rooms that were originally designed for other purposes to create smaller learning environments. Also, TMS is unable to host music education classes because there is not an appropriate space that would not disrupt other learning environments. Therefore, TMS students are required to walk to Tyngsboro High School to attend their music education classes. Also, the fact that the district's central administrative offices are located in the middle school underneath the gymnasium results in a lack of additional space available for educational programming. In conclusion, it is important for me to state definitively that our students receive a high-quality education and that our educators work hard to creatively work around many of the shortcomings of a 49-year-old building. I would be seriously remiss if I didn't acknowledge the ongoing consistent efforts of our maintenance and custodial staff as they do their best to keep our middle school in the best shape that they can. However, as the educational leader of the district, I believe it is incumbent upon me to put the district in the best position possible to be invited into the MSBA pipeline. Thank you for viewing this.
Finally, let's meet our high school principal, Mr. Jeff Ogden. Mr. Ogden, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your educational career?
Yeah, I'd love to, and thanks for having me today. I am Jeff Ogden, as Corey just said. I'm in my 15th year here in the Tyngsboro School District. This is my second year as the principal at Tyngsboro High. Previously to that, I did 4 years as the assistant principal, and prior to that, I started out as a special education teacher. During my time here, I've worked at both the middle and high school, so that gives me a unique perspective in my role today.
Mr. Ogden, could you tell us about some of the things you were particularly excited about happening this year?
So there's a lot of things going on as we kick off the school year. One of the areas that I'm very excited for is the Chromebook initiative, particularly in our ELA department. The ELA teachers have done a fantastic job of maximizing the opportunities for students to use this technology. They share it amongst each other, and it really gives the students the opportunity to dig in with technology, so that's exciting there. Something that has also shown growth this year is our student council. In only its second year, it's already 42 members strong. That's quite a jump from the first year. They're actively involved. They're coming up with many fundraisers and finding different ways to be involved around the schools, which is great to see. And as always, a favorite is homecoming. So that would be a great time for students to get out there and show their school spirit while having a lot of fun around campus.
Preparing students for college and a career is a key focus here at Tyngsboro High School. Could you give us some information about the diverse range of studies offered to our students?
So here at Tyngsboro High School, we offer a comprehensive list of course offerings. They range from honors, college prep, to AP. Within those courses, we have a number of electives which allow students to have the opportunity to explore different options in areas that they really like. We also have capstone courses. Capstone courses are more independent and student-driven. Some of those courses include Road Trip Nation, Comprehensive Project, and projects in engineering. Each year, it's one of the more exciting things I get to do, to go see what those individual projects are and see what students explore. A lot of times, I'm surprised at what they learn, but I feel as though it really helps prepare them for college or beyond.
Finally, Mr. Ogden, if someone's stepping foot in Tyngsboro High School for the first time, what is one thing you would like them to know about this school?
I think the biggest thing that people need to know about the school is the sense of community and pride that it has. When you walk in, there's an amazing school culture here, and people really do care about others and want people to feel welcomed and comfortable when they attend here. I think that can be shown throughout many different aspects, ranging from during homecoming to games to theater events, the band performing. People really support each other, and it takes all of us, being a small school, for all those things to work. So that's probably really what it is, a sense of pride, the sense of community that we have.
And this sense of community really shines through when one member of our community is in need. The whole town, the whole school really rallies behind one another, and we make it as a team. Thank you, Mr. Ogden, for your time.
Thank you.
The Tyngsboro Public Schools prepare students for their global future. This is a community where we empower leaders, empower educators, empower competitors, and empower students to make a difference in their global future. Students are challenged to cross the bridge between the status quo and innovation. The Tyngsboro Public Schools provides the necessary tools to facilitate growth from young learner to responsible adult, providing an educational experience that supports academic achievement as well as the social and emotional needs of our students with a community-based approach. The Tyngsboro Public Schools prepare students for their global future by investing in the whole child and creating opportunities for students to be innovative and impactful in our community.
We are.
We are.
Tyngsboro Public Schools.
Next up is Tyngsboro Middle School STEM teacher, Mr. Adam Beauvais. I'm here today with Mr. Adam Beauvais, the Tyngsboro Middle School STEM teacher. Today he's going to show us an insight on the new STEM program operations at the middle school.
All right, so what they're working on is students are designing residential homes, and so they start designing it with blueprints, and then they start framing the walls for the exterior walls and interior walls. Once the framing is done, this is the bottom floor of a sample house. Once that's done, then they start wiring up the house with some lights and some switches like a real home, and then their house gets inspected by me, both building inspection and electrical inspection, and then they have to prepare a video in front of our green screen where they actually sell the house to some of their classmates.
Awesome. Is there any new projects you're most excited about this year?
I'm most excited about this one right here, and then also the 8th graders are designing a future city where they design parts where they have to incorporate the elderly folk, and they have to create parts that move and help elderly people move around better in cities. And so they're designing these giant cities with recyclable parts in hopes that they can spark some ideas for the future.
Now, you went to university actually for meteorology, so could you explain how you're incorporating the meteorology in the STEM curriculum this year?
Of course. So my undergrad was in meteorology. In the future city, the students picked a city wherever they wanted in the world, and what they're going to do is I've been teaching them how to forecast, and they're going to forecast the weather for that city, and then they're going to actually create a news broadcast using our green screen, and then they're going to forecast out the weather for their city, which is the new science standards are more weather-based. So incorporating the designing of the city and the forecasting of the weather into one big project.
Now, this is all in the new makerspace upstairs, correct?
Yes, the green screen and the 3D printing will all be done in the makerspace upstairs, and then the building and construction is done down here in the classroom.
All right, awesome. Thank you for your time, Mr. Adam Beauvais. Finally, let's meet the Tyngsboro High Student Council.
Hi, we're here today at Holy Cross in Worcester for the annual MASC Office Shop Conference. Here, members of the student councils across the state meet to talk about what ideas work and how they can make their communities better.
Our student council basically does things within our school. We've helped for homecoming so far, and we help at the elementary school and do like a bunch of different fundraisers, and it's really interesting.
We have meetings after schools on Thursday for about a half hour, so if you're interested, you could come by.
At these conferences, there's lots of other schools that have had this up and running for a really long time, and it's been a tradition for them. And we really want to start making this a tradition for Tyngsboro for years to come, so people can have fun and look back upon it as a memorable time in high school.
Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of Crossing the Bridge.